Si Jose at ang kanyang mga kapatid. Genesis 37 verses 1 to 36. Si Jacob ay nanatili sa Kanaan sa lupaing tinirhan ng kanyang ama. Ito ang kasaysayan ng sambahayan ni Jacob. Nang si Jose ay 17 taon na, nag-aalaga siya ng kawan kasama ng kanyang mga kapatid sa ama. Ang mga anak nina Belha at Selpa, na mga asawang lingkod ng kanyang ama. Alam niya ang masasamang gawain ng kanyang mga kapatid, kaya't ang mga ito'y isinumbong niya sa kanyang ama. Mas mahal ni Israel si Jose kaysa ibang mga anak, sapagkat matanda na siya nang ito'y isinilang. Iginawa niya ito ng damit na mahaba na may manggas. Nang mahalata ng mga kapatid ni Jose na mas mahal siya ng kanyang ama, kinahumuhian siya ng mga ito at ayaw siyang pakisamahang mabuti. Minsan na naginip si Jose at lalong namuhi ang mga kapatid niya nang ito'y ikuwento niya sa kanila. Sabi ni Jose, "Napanaginipan ko na tayo'y nasa bukid at nagbibigkis ng trigo. Tumayo ang aking binigkis at yumukod sa paligid nito ang inyong mga binigkis." Ano? Ang ibig mong sabihin ay maghahari ka sa amin? Tanong nila. At lalo silang nagalit kay Jose. Nanaginip muli si Jose at isinalaysay sa kanyang mga kapatid ang ganito. "Nakita ko sa aking panaginip na ang araw at ang buwan at 11 bituin nito ay yumuko sa aking harapan." Sinabi rin niya ito sa kanyang ama at ito'y nagalit din sa kanya. "Anong ibig mong sabihin?" tanong ng ama. "Kami ng inyong ina't mga kapatid ay yuyuko sa harapan mo?" Inggit na inggit kay Jose ang kanyang mga kapatid. Inisip-isip namang mabuti ng kanyang ama ang mga bagay na ito. Isang araw, nasa Shechem ang mga kapatid ni Jose at pinapastol doon ang kawan ng kanilang ama. Sinabi ni Israel kay Jose, "Gumayak ka at sumunod sa iyong mga kapatid." "Opo," tugon ni Jose. Sinabi pa ng kanyang ama, "Tingnan mo kung sila'y nasa mabuting kalagayan." Pagkatapos, bumalik ka kaagad at nang malaman ko. Lumakad nga si Jose mula sa libis ng Hebron at nakarating sa Shechem. Sa kanyang paglalakad, nakita niya ang isang lalaki at tinanong kung anong hinahanap niya. "Hinahanap ko po ang aking mga kapatid na nagpapastol ng aming kawan," sagot niya. "Saan ko po kaya sila makikita?" Sinabi ng lalaki, "Umalis na sila at ang dinig ko'y sa Dotan pupunta." Sumunod si Jose at natagpuan nga roon ang mga kapatid. Malayo pa'y natanaw na siya ng mga ito. Nagkaisa silang patayin siya. Sinabi nila, "Ayan na ang mahilig managinip. Patayin natin siya at ihulog sa balon at sabihing siya'y sinila ng mabangis na hayop. Tingnan lang natin kung ano ang mangyayari sa kanyang mga panaginip." Narinig ito ni Ruben at binalak niyang iligtas si Jose. Sabi niya, huwag nating patayin. Huwag natin siyang pagbuhatan ng kamay. Ihulog na lang natin siya sa balon. Sinabi niya ito sapagkat ang balak niya ay iligtas ang kapatid at dalhin ito sa kanyang ama. Paglapit ni Jose, hinubad nila ang mahabang damit nito na may manggas at inihulog sa isang tuyong balon. Habang sila'y kumakain, may natadaw silang pangkat ng mga Ishmaelitang mula sa Gilead. Ang kanilang mga kamelyo ay may kargang mga gagawing pabango na dadalhin sa Ehipto. Sinabi ni Judah sa kanyang mga kapatid, wala tayong mapapala kung papatayin natin ang ating kapatid. Mabuti pa'y ipagbili na lang natin siya sa mga Ismaelita kaysa ating saktan. Siya'y kapatid din natin, laman ang ating laman at dugo ng ating dugo. At sila'y nagkasundo. Kaya't nang may dumarating ngang mga mangangalakal na Medyanita, iniaho nila si Jose at ipinagbili sa halagang 20 perasong pilak. At si Jose dinala ng mga Ishmaelita sa Ehipto. Pagbalik ni Ruben sa balon, nakita niyang wala na roon si Jose. Sa laki ng kanyang pagdaramdam, pinunit niya ang kanyang damit. Lumapit siya sa kanyang mga kapatid at ang sabi, wala na sa balon si Jose. Ano ang gagawin ko ngayon? Nagpatay sila ng kambing at itinubog sa dugo nito ang hinubad na damit ni Jose. Pagkatapos, dilanalin na ito sa kanilang ama at sinabi, nakita po namin ang damit na ito. Tingnan nga ninyo kung ito nga ang mahal ninyong anak. Nakilala niya agad ang damit. Kanya nga ito. Pinatay ng mabangis na hayop ang anak ko. Pihong nagkaluray-luray ang kanyang katawan. Sinira ni Jacob ang suot niyang damit at nagsuot ng damit panluksa. Ipinagluksa niya ng mahabang panahon ang nangyari sa kanyang anak. Inalaw siya ng lahat niyang mga anak, ngunit patuloy ang kanyang pamimighati. Sinabi niya, mapupunta ako sa daigdig ng mga patay na nagdadalamhati dahil sa pagkawala ng aking anak. Patuloy siyang nagluksa dahil sa pagkamatay ni Jose. Samantala, pagdating sa Ehipto, ipinagbili si Jose sa mga Midyanita kay Potifar, isang punong kawal ng Paraon at kapitan ng mga tanod sa palasyo. Joseph the Dreamer. Genesis 37 verses 1 to 36. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man at 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Selpha, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any other of his sons, because he has been born to him in his old age, and he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all that more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly My chef rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this is time the sun and moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told this to his father as well and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said, "What is that dream you had? Will your mother and I, your brothers, actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in his mind. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flock near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, "As you know, your brother are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I'm going to send you to them." "Very well," he replied. So he said to him, "Go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me." Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, "What are you looking for?" He replied, "I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks?" "They have moved on from here," the man answered. "I heard them say, 'Let's go to Dothan.'" So Joseph went off with his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said to each other. "Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns, and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then he'll see what comes of his dreams." When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. "Let's not take his life," he said. "Don't shed any blood. Throw him into this cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay on hand on him." Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay out our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brother pulled Joseph out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in the blood. They took the ornate robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal have devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "I will continue to mourn until I join my son in the grave." So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard.